Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Soreti Kadir, bringing you news from Oromia, Ethiopia, the Horn region and the world here on the Oromia Media Network. Farmers have told OMN that the government is refusing to give those they believe have opposing political views government-subsidised fertiliser. Last year, the prices of fertiliser on the open market ranged from 2,000 to 3,000 Ethiopian birr, but this year it has reached a staggering range of 8,000 to 10,000 Ethiopian birr. Because the planting season is ending, some farmers have gone ahead and planted their crops without fertiliser, whilst others have resorted to not planting anything at all for this season. On the 3rd of July, leaders of the Oromia Liberation Army held an open meeting on Zoom with the Oromo community across the diaspora and in the country. The Army's leading commander, Jal Marro Dirriba, was joined by the OLA's deputy commander, Jal Gamatchu Aboye, who is also the commander of the Army Southern Base, and the Central Zone's commander, Jal Sanyi Nagasa, was also part of this meeting. The leaders shared that operations to divide the army have failed and that although there have been issues of misunderstanding and division within the army, a 5-day-long meeting was held to settle these issues and all zones and divisions of the OLA are now working in unison. Jal Marro commented on the organisation's growing diplomatic strength, describing that parties that want to know about the OLA no longer have to ask others outside of the organisation, but that they can now speak directly with the OLA as an institution. Jal Gamatchu Aboye spoke to the conditions of the army in 2018, 19 and 20, describing them as difficult times where, in 2018, people struggled to understand the position of the army, leading to isolation in the following 2 years and meaning that the army had to, in Jal Gamatchu's words, pay great sacrifices to continue pursuing its goals. Commander of the OLA's Central Zone, Jal Sanyi Nagasa, commented on operations near the capital city, stating that the army is fighting in all 5 directions leading in and out of Addis Ababa, and that this isn't a sign of weakness or disorganization, but rather a sign of the army's strength. The idea that political struggle isn't necessary anymore has posed challenges to the OLA, said the commanders, along with the widely held idea that an Oromo Prime Minister has been and is being considered a win for the Oromo struggle. The commanders emphasised that fighting with weapons is one thing and considered it an easier activity compared to the work of overcoming the impacts of political propaganda. More on the OLA. There has been an increase in kidnappings for ransoms of up to 1 million Ethiopian birr in Oromia by people impersonating OLA fighters and commanders. These attacks were relatively common in rural areas, but are now also taking place in bigger towns. A source told OMN that 3 people who were instructed by the government to impersonate OLA commanders and soldiers and rob people in their homes were captured by the army. In the area of Hetosa in the Arsi region, one said person named Ali Abduabda was instructed by the government to rob homes using the name Injifanno, a common nom de guerre used in the OLA, and he was told to do this whilst wearing OLA uniform. Altogether, across the operations Ali was involved in, 8 mobile phones and 14,000 Ethiopian birr were stolen. Those captured with Ali shared that they were also given fake nom de guerres and that they had commanders who had taken on the false identities of OLA commanders Jal Marro and Jal Sanyi. Ali shared that they were organised by the government to tarnish the reputation of the OLA. In the testimonies that have been captured on camera, Ali shares details about the homes and shops robbed and the amount of money and mobile phones taken from each. OMN talked to a member of the army known as Jal Walbeka, who had interrogated Ali and his counterparts in Hetosa in the RC zone, and he shared that these impersonations are taking place all over Oromia, that those impersonating the army go as far as wearing fake dreadlocks, a hairstyle common amongst OLA soldiers, and that the OLA have exhausted efforts to capture impersonators but struggle as they operate at night and spend the day living as ordinary civilians. He shared that the criminal activity ranges from petty theft to large-scale kidnappings for ransom. From February this year, we have been bringing you content in the English language that has been covering the political, social, and economic realities of Ethiopia and the wider Horn region. We have had the pleasure of bringing you thought-provoking analysis and powerful stories to help us better understand the issues our region faces and what steps can be taken to solve these issues. As we continue to produce this content on our show OMN Insights, we're also excited to announce that we will be bringing you bi-weekly news bulletins in the English language. This means that we will now be airing a total of 3 English segments a week on the Oromia Media Network. I want to encourage you to tune in wherever it is you watch OMN content on Tuesdays and Thursdays for our news bulletins, and continue to watch and share our weekly program OMN Insight, hosted by me, Soreti Kadir. If you want to support our work through sponsorship, I also encourage you to get in touch with our team. A senior party official of the Oromo Liberation Front, Kenasa Ayana, has been referred to a leading hospital for continued treatment as his condition is getting worse. From the 5 senior party officials currently imprisoned in Burayu, located in Addis Ababa, an eyewitness saw both Kenasa Ayana and Lammi Benya entering the hospital, Kenasa in a wheelchair and Lammi walking with his weight being held by another person. Dawit Abdata has also been hospitalized. The OLF's public relations officer, Lammi Gamachu, confirms that Kenasa was referred onto another hospital because of his worsening state. Lammi Gamachu told OMN that police do not allow adequate health care into the prisons, if any at all, and the lack of access to medications consistently is why the conditions of Kenasa and others are worsening. The OLF's public relations officer also describes that both Lammi Benya and Dawit Abdata have not been this critically ill before, and that Kenasa's condition is extremely serious and must be monitored. Finally, Lammi Gamachu states that the party officials are being held in inhumane conditions and are experiencing human rights abuses whilst in prison. Now in news from elsewhere in the world, South Sudan has announced that the country's first ever presidential elections are set to take place in 2024. Salva Kiir, who has been leading the joint government since the country's independence in 2001, has accepted to run as presidential candidate for the Sudan People's Liberation Movement Party, with his leading opponent Riek Machar, though his candidacy is yet to be announced. In an event at Wau Stadium in Bahal El Ghazar on the 4th of this month, Kiir declared that the transitional period shouldn't be extended any longer, though his opposition have long accused him of lacking the political will to lead the country towards free and fair elections. Thank you for watching. That's all for today. My name is Soreti Kadir, bringing you news from Oromia, Ethiopia, the Horn region, and the world here on the Oromia Media Network.
Hawaasa Oromoo Ameerikaa kutaa bulchiinsa Siyaatil jiraatan mara.
Hawaasni Oromoo Ameerikaa kutaa bulchiinsa Siyaatil adoolessa 8 bara 2023 waaree booda sa'aatii 2 irraa jalqabuun sagantaa tumsaa OMN fi marii hawaasaa qopheessanii isin eegaatu jira.
Deeggarsa miidiyaa walabaa fi sagalee cunqurfamtoota OMN marii hawaasaa kana irratti uummanni Oromoo Ameerikaa kutaa bulchiinsa Siyaatil daandii jiraatan martuu affeeram tani jirtu jedhu koreen qindeessitu sagantichaa.
Keessummoonni sagantaa kana irratti argaman Directorii olaanaa OMN Dajanee Guutama, miseensa boordii OMN Dr. Ahmed Galchuu fi Sheek Adam Kabiraa yoo ta'an
gaazexeessitoota gameeyyii OMN Asiyaa Muhammad Tasfaayaa Aminaa fi Mahadii Junaydii sagantaa tumsa miidiyaa walabaa fi marii uummataa kana irratti ni argamu.
teessoon teenya 3515S Alaska Street Saddle.
Odeeffannoo dabalataatiif lakkoofsa bilbilaa kanaan koree qindeessituu sagantichaa dubbisuu dandeessu.
OMN utubuun sabboonummaa Oromoo utubuudha.
Koree qindeessituu sagantichaa Siyaatil USA.
Kaleessalle akarrattu ndoofte dhugaa qabate kanattu milkoofte miidiyaa haqa daandii kee kacaalu agarra kaayyoo kee furmaata finne si deeggarra har'a si deeggarra boruu si deeggarra yoomuu si deeggarra.